How about the Steelers and their defense? They delivered their best performance of the season in a 27-24 win over the AFC-leading Colts. Pittsburgh forced 6 turnovers, including causing Daniel Jones to lose 2 fumbles, be completely discombobulated. Their losing streak comes to an end. Listen to this.
We're all human, and I think those guys felt, pretty upset, had a little red eyes about what's been going on, so I'm proud of them, the way they came back and responded.
It's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes in this business. It's nothing dramatic, it's really not. We're still the same group that stunk it up last week. That's football.
Oh, I love Mike Tomlin. He always knows how to keep this thing real, right? The Steelers looked really good. Oh, we got a Steelers fan in the building. Love to see it. Love to see it. Their defensive effort, though, against a very good Colts offense was impressive. But were you more impressed with the Steelers' D or more concerned with the way that Colts offense looked?
I was shocked by how the Steelers' defense looked because they've been an absolute embarrassment. There's no doubt about that. 4 times this year, giving up over 30 points. And then I'm looking at the offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm still not enamored. That's why that Steeler fan needs to sit down and not get too excited, because the reality is that Aaron Rodgers, 24 of his 32 passes were for under 10 yards. You dipping and dunking and all. I get all of that. The Steelers, DK Metcalf had 6 yards on 2 receptions. Michael Irvin, I'm looking at you. DK Metcalf had 6 yards on 2 receptions. I mean, I love DK, but that's an embarrassing statistic for a receiver. You got Jaylen Warren. He's averaging 1.9 yards a carry yesterday. The Steelers averaged 1.7 yards per carry rushing the football yesterday. I'm not excited about this. Now, Cam Hayward called out their defense, said that they didn't play with any kind of toughness against the Packers and all of this other stuff. I get that part. And so they showed up and they showed some pride. But if you could do it against an Indianapolis Colts team that was a #1 offense, okay, with a Jonathan Taylor that was a stud, and we were talking about him as an MVP candidate, all right? Even though Daniel Jones looked awful, sacked, 3 interceptions, sacked twice, turned the ball over 5 times. We understand, even with him and these Indianapolis Colts, that was an aberration. That is not something you should expect to see again from the Indianapolis Colts. I'm praying that we see some semblance of that from the Steelers' defense moving forward. At the very least, be opportunistic, because you haven't done anything in over a month.
So when you look at this stat line of 6 turnovers, playmaker, Danny O, and you say to yourself, we only lost by 7 points.
Exactly.
That's something that you have to start to say to yourself. It's like, okay, that's blowout numbers. That's supposed to be a 40-burger, to say the least. But now you start to really look on the other side. They did not lead in the stat line with total offense. I've said it from time to time since the beginning of the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers needs big questions or have big questions at the amenity position from the receivers. They have no amenities. That, not DK. DK Metcalf, for me, is a person that's the biggest head scratcher, because you say to yourself, he looks the part, he's well and capable, it's just not producing for what it's worth. Obviously, understanding the type of quarterback that A-Rod is, and you start to see the stat line of 2 receptions, 6 yards, impossible.
Yeah, but for me, I put that on the coaching staff in Pittsburgh. Now, Seattle ran DK a different way. He's a big guy. When I remember him coming out of the combine, he's a big guy that had transition issues, going in and out of cuts. You got to let him run deep routes. When he's in Seattle, he ran deeper comebacks.
Yeah.
Because he was so fast. Once you get going, it doesn't matter how quick you turn your hips. You got to get out of there. And now he has more room and more time to slow down and break down. Listen, I'm more impressed with the Steelers' defense, because that's the defense I've been used to seeing and expect them to be. But I'm going to tell you something. If you guys think, okay, Indiana Jones is gone and Daniel Jones is back, and you think this is about to happen every game in Indy, that ain't going down. That's a real team in Indy. I mean, a scary team in Indy. They have everything, and Indiana Jones has revived his career. He can play football. It was just playing in New York, where it's hard to succeed as a quarterback. In Indy, it's a little different. I think Indy will be fine.
I still believe in the Colts to make the AFC title game more than I do believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no team in the NFL right now. There's no team in the NFL right now that is benefiting off of turnovers like the Steelers. If they get turnovers, they play good defensively. They've beaten the Patriots and they've beaten the Colts because they've gotten 11 turnovers in that game.
But if they don't,
but if they don't, you can get after them. So like, I'm not worried about Indy. I think still Indy is one of the more difficult offenses to match up against. And everyone's going to overreact to the Daniel Jones turnovers. One, TJ Watt makes a great play. He's going to strip that ball from every quarterback outside of like Josh and Patrick. Number two, the bad interception to Peyton Wilson, yes. The other interception is just a bad break, bro. Like ball gets tipped up in the air off a pass rusher, becomes interception. So I'm not going to overreact to that. If the Steelers get takeaways, they could beat anybody. If they don't, they can get beat by anybody.
Well, damn it, they don't usually get takeaways, so let's get that out of the way first. Secondly, they were playing without 4 different safeties yesterday. Okay, Highsmith showed up. Obviously, T.J. Watt showed up. Sawyer showed up. Wilson showed up. We give credit where credit is due. But there's a reason that Steeler fans actually held a funeral outside of the stadium for their defense before the game yesterday, because that's how awful they have been. The question is, do we believe that Steelers defense that showed up has really corrected the error of their ways?
No, they
are they a one-trick pony?
They got to get takeaways.
That's it.
They're not a dominant defense. They're a takeaway defense.
And a takeaway defense is a championship defense. I've been hearing people spew mess. Defense win championships. No, it doesn't. Points win championships. And a takeaway defense gives you the opportunity to win, get points. That's what Pittsburgh has a chance.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
You need to say a scoring defense wins championships.
That's a lie.
He's right.
He's trying to sound right. Our offense is going to propel the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. You ain't going to no damn playoffs, let alone a Super Bowl. Stop it.
Yesterday, the Bengals trailed by 2 touchdowns with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It was insane. Joe Flacco rallied Cincinnati back to take a 1-point lead to only watch their defense just completely collapse, give it away to a 58-yard touchdown pass by Caleb Williams. And so, after this happened, Chase Brown and Jamar Chase not happy, calling out the defense.
Finish the game, like just end it. Like that's it. Like that's what we need to do. Just end the game. Like make them get us the ball back. Let us 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel.
I'm gonna stay in my lane. I don't want no defensive player come and chew me out about what I'm doing.
Woo! So Brown and Chase not happy, and now it's starting to spill over. That's right. Let them know. Look at the Chicago Bears fan in the building. I love to see it. Chicago born and raised, but I think this is probably more of a problem for Cincinnati than it is for Chicago at this point, Swagoo, because you got players now calling out other players in the locker room. Did you have a problem with what Jamar Chase and Chase Brown said?
It's the cardinal sin. Even though I know the emotion is running high after the game, it's the cardinal sin. So you don't really want to go to that point, because there will come a time where it'll be on them.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of times, though, you caught up in the emotion right after the game. You just went down for a drive to win the game, and you give up that interception. Who I would have been calling out, Cam, is the damn defensive coordinator.
Hello.
Because I don't understand. One, you playing man-to-man with 17 seconds left on the clock.
That was Tampa. That was
oh, it was Tampa. Okay.
But the linebacker did not get enough depth.
But also, but also, what beats Tampa? You leaving one man over the top. You leaving one man over the top, right? Whether you getting depth or not.
Yes.
If that ball gets over your linebacker, the safety, the only man left.
That's the thing,
right? And you get that up in that situation, man. Get your ass in prevent. Keep everything in front of you. A field goal don't win the game.
Now, this is what the people
make that tackle. They may not even get a chance to make that. You're trying to make a big hit right there.
Get him on the ground.
Instead of wrapping up and taking all day getting off.
Have no timeouts.
Right, I know.
All that too,
that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Right. So tackle him, spend time on top of him to make sure, that clock run out after you already have given up that big play.
This is what I always say this. I've seen a specific individual on this panel talk about a coach not having control of that locker room. And it may not necessarily be the coach in Cincinnati, but where he stayed. He's in Miami, chick. The person who's in Miami speaks about Mike McDaniel not having control of that locker room. So, Stephen A., I'll ask the question, does Zach Taylor require a little something from you? Do you have something to say about him losing that locker room?
Well, my response to you is that I'm very, very disappointed that you asked me that question, because it shows that you're not watching every episode of First Take.
No.
Because let me tell you something, because if you are, you have heard me say, Zach Taylor, this man, he on a hot seat. He'd be lucky if he make it through the season. I held him responsible for Joe Burrow now missing 3 of his 6 seasons in the NFL. Constantly having him in the shotgun offense. Never having him behind center. Never having him in a position where he can engage in play action. Exposing him the way that he did. And I said, by the way, you're supposed to be the head man. That means you got something to do with the defense. Yep. Call a different play. Make sure you zoned up. Make sure you in prevent as opposed to doing man-to-man. Make sure you understand the importance of tackling in that situation. The Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams, who I believe in, by the way, but still developing and growing. Caleb Williams said, we knew we were going to have a big game today. He said that. Think about that. When you heard that name come out of his mouth, he ain't never do that. You know what? But you know what? He saw them lose to the winless New York Jets the week earlier, giving up 39 points to the New York Jets with Justin Fields. And Caleb Williams said, I think I can do that against that team. I think I can do that. And that's what happened. The Cincinnati Bengals are trash defensively. Jamar Chase deserves better. T. Higgins deserves better. Joe Flacco deserves better, right. Okay? Because when you have a defense that's just non-existent, I know I said the Alice Cowboys instead of the Dallas Cowboys, but the Bengals are worse. The Bengals are worse than the Cowboys, okay? At least I get an impression. You know, you might not tackle right sometimes. You might make some mistakes. You might have some confusion from time to time. But nobody is as bad as the Bengals. And by the way, here's where I got to hold Joe Burrow accountable. You wanted Higgins to get his money. You wanted Jamar Chase to get his money. But you also wanted Hendrickson to get his money. Damn it. They don't have anybody on defense that look like they deserve to get paid.
Start putting that in. Start putting that in. First of all, let me go back here and address the statement that Chad Brown was talking about. And we get up here all the time and say, oh, it's the Cardinals thing. And it is to run to the media with it, but not to run to your defense with
it. Oh, yeah, you can.
I want accountability. 100%. And you got to have accountability. We had a guy named Charles Haley. Hello. And we would have a conversation before every game. Charles would ask me, how many points you got? I said, we got at least 24. I said, what can y'all do? He said, they won't get 17. If they're holding that defense, they're holding that offense to 10, 12 points, and he's looking up at that scoreboard, and I promised him 24 and 14 on that board, he walks by me and says, playmaker 14 don't sound like 24. You see what I'm saying? That's accountability. And that's all Chad Brown is saying. I want accountability over here. Now, he should not just be talking to his teammates. He should go scream to his owner, who wouldn't pay a man that plays great defense, who wouldn't even pay the guy that they drafted. So they don't care about defense. So don't act like, oh, the players are the only one wrong.
No, it's definitely management. It's definitely management.
It's
definitely management.
Everybody.
This is a team that has given up in the Bengals 300 points in 9 games.
Yep.
That's I mean, and then back-to-back weeks you're giving up a touchdown to a wide receiver and a running back.
Not only that.
And this is worse than last year. This was the same conversation last year.
That's what I was about to say.
Fighting people.
The issue is not that they're having this type of play from their defense this year. They've been having this same type of issue out of their defense for the last 2 years.
Cam, let me ask you a question. So, how long before Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase want out?
They can't. They just got paid that money.
I know they just got paid money.
He said want.
How long before they want out because of the disservice that this ownership?
I'd want out now.
You've been a franchise quarterback.
I'd want out now.
Listen, it's hard for me to answer that question because I'm producing and they are producing. And not per se Joe Burrow more so, but when you see the game that T. Higgins had yesterday, the amount of difficulty of the catches that he made, now it says you got an issue in Dallas. I wouldn't even say an issue in Dallas when you got 2 #1 valuable playmakers on the outside.
Right.
When that happens, you have to give those guys opportunities. They've given them opportunities. Everybody's at home.
So you're spending money.
One gonna get traded.
Right, but you're spending money incorrectly. All right, you got that offense and you're not doing anything.
It's bad in Cincinnati what they're doing. All right.